the only concert the band will play in England at Knebworth. An outdoor rock festival in front of 50,000 is the sharp end of the music business. Professionalism reigns supreme. A few mistakes could lead to a riot, and worse, a loss of a performing licence. What the promoter needs is a softly banked hill, surrounded if possible by trees. 4,000 sheets of corrugated iron to keep out the gatecrashers. A metallic roadway to keep out the mud. And a 90-foot stage that took 5 weeks to build. Like nothing else on Earth, a rock festival preens itself on details. It isn't very often 10 coin box phones are requested for the middle of a field. Give them enough notice and the post office will provide. For the council, a rock festival means a series of meetings, public safety and public order, trying, they say, to keep the public happy. Quite a complex operation, really, isn't it?
It is, much more than the public think. Imagine you just put a stage up, plug in, and put a couple of amplifiers, and away you go. But it's really, you're starting off with all the amenities of quite a large town. That's public health, safety, welfare, medical services. And for instance, there are at least 250 trained personnel on the Red Cross and ambulance, and that includes about 14 doctors, and they do a wonderful job.
It's like running a town for a day, really, isn't it?
It is. You provide everything that a large town has for one day. Food and not even their amusement.
Are you worried that things might go wrong on this one?
Not worried. You're always a bit anxious when you've got a great number of people like this, and you're glad when it's over. But I wouldn't say I'm directly worried. You're concerned that it shall go off all right.
At first, they were anxious about the laser, firing off at aircraft. But after they had a word with the operator and watched the group practice, they gave it the okay. Everything about a rock festival takes its character from the band. Genesis, they decided, were a sensible group.
Way too many have stood with us now. Many more will stand here too. Think will I find strangers the way you built me up and knocked me down again. Heart was fun, and now it's over. Why can't I just leave the stage? Maybe that's because you securely locked me up and threw away the key. On my mind, please would you find a key? Open my heart, because you let me go free. I thought I was lucky. I thought that
Informal, human, self-critical. 3 normal people in an extraordinary business. The kind of group that take their wives and children on tour with them.
But this year we're doing a series of shorter tours rather than like one long tour of America. We're doing 3 short ones. So we're never away for more than 3 or 4 weeks. And if families join you, then it's not so bad. It breaks it up a bit.
How much of your life do you actually spend on the road?
How much of my life? I reckon I'm told about 6 or 7 months of the year, but it never actually feels like that because it's split up quite a lot. You know, I mean, I've been playing in professional bands since I was about 14, so I mean, I've been on the road quite a while.
Do you get fed up on the road?
No, I find in America, tours kind of have different characters. You know, like in America, most tours are kind of easy to get on with because you can. There's no language barriers. There's nothing like that. And everything's done for your convenience. Whereas in Europe, say, it's a bit more tiring because you have to continually have menus translated and this kind of stuff. You want to eat, and then you can't eat between 3 and 5. And so it's a bit more of a hassle. I mean, I quite like touring, but when you're on tour, you want to be off, and when you're off tour, you want to be on. It's one of those things.
I never expected to go into it being in a group. It was really just the chance came, and you know, I really felt that the very early days of Genesis, when we hadn't played to anyone, that we could be a very good group. And so I decided to leave university where I was at the time and do it instead.
Are you glad you did that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the experience I've had is in the last 10 years since I took that decision. I've been, you know, incredibly sort of fulfilling, if you like. I've just done so much and done an awful lot of, you know, I've been to an awful lot of places and things like that. That's an awful lot I haven't seen as well, but I think there are a few jobs that let you see as much as this one does.
Will you give it up, the road, one day?
Well, yes, as like this, I think. I mean, I don't really want to play these big concerts too many more times. I mean, this is like Knebworth, for instance, is something different because it's such a big thing. But like on tour, in general, I'd much prefer to be playing. Now we've done the 18,000 or the 20,000 seaters, and we've proved we can do it to ourselves and to other people. It'd be nice to go back into playing small clubs or small theatres. This is what I would like to do, anyway. And so I can see that maybe myself would go back, still be playing in clubs in front of people in maybe 10 years' time, but obviously not doing this kind of thing.
You do it for the music, really, don't you?
Yes, so that's the reason why I do it.
It's not for the money.
It's not for the money, but the money, I mean, you know, this is an over-rewarded job, and it makes it very easy to take the sort of bad part of the job, I suppose, you know. That's the only factor.
What can you do in the future now?
I don't know. I want to try and keep on writing music for as long as I can, but I wouldn't mind at some point doing something totally different. But what that would be, I have no idea.
You couldn't really be on the road at 40, could you?
I don't know. Well, we're coming up to seeing people who are still on the road, you know, in the 30s and late 30s. I mean, the Stones and things. I think it's quite interesting to see what, you know, how these people make out. They still seem to be doing very, very well and performing very well. So I don't think that's necessarily. It's just because rock music is a thing of the last sort of 20 years that people have never seen older people in rock groups. But I don't see why in the future that should be a rare thing at all.
Do you see it as a job?
Yeah, it's a job, but also a very lucky job because not many people are able to do something that probably brings them more pleasure, work-wise, than anything else. And yet they're able to call it their job, so in a way I feel very lucky in that sense.
I mean, are you all millionaires and that kind of thing?
No, we're not millionaires.
What sort of house would you have? A huge house in the country or just an ordinary house?
I've got an ordinary house at the moment.
Just ordinary people, really?
Oh no, well I wouldn't say that. Yes, fairly average.
Yeah.
Their major fear for the festival was ordinary too, the weather. However they played, success would be washed away by rain. The sound check was virtually ruined. The arena became soggy. If it was like this on Saturday, the fans would have 16 hours in the rain, and even the band would need Wellingtons. Altogether on this site, they've got 450 of these loos, 300 feet of urinal, and they'll need them. Because over the back, they're delivering 180,000 cans of Coca-Cola, and that's got to be disposed of somewhere. The statistics of a rock festival are intimidating. 25,000 sandwiches, a 7-ton lorry load of meat pies and sausage rolls, 2 Arctics full of tea and coffee, a truck of sweets and ices from Bristol, 20 ice cream stalls and a 50-outlet catering service. By Friday night, the gently sloping field looked like Brighton before a sunny Saturday, and the promoter was calming down. Do you know how much money you will make when the whole thing is added up?
That's a great question to ask me. No, I'm afraid I don't. At the moment, I mean, as you can know, you probably don't see because you've just really come in at a fairly quiet moment. But things escalate all the time. You know, backstage, our requirements because of the rain mean we need all sorts of extras, and these add to the cost all the time.
Is there a chance you could lose money?
Not
really,
I don't know. It's again, on this particular concert, I think we're reasonably in good shape there. But when you have rain and additional problems and additional expenses, certainly that's one of the times when you could.
Why do you do it?
To make a living, I suppose, should be the obvious thing to say, but probably because it's a challenge. It's quite a sort of an exercise, which I like to think I do well, and I like to think I can do better each time.
No one, probably not even Freddie Bannister, could say for certain how many would actually come to the festival. But already, a whole day early, a compact village of tents had assembled outside.
C'est bon! Ah, c'est bon!
You're French, are you?
C'est bon!
French? You've not come all the way from France with us, have you? Really?
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Hovercraft. Train hovercraft.
And
I've been...
all the way from France for this? You're obviously fans, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
Have you got a tent?
No.
Aren't you going to get wet?
Maybe.
No,
Genesis
How
are
are you?
here.
3:30 in the morning, right?
Genesis are here. It does not matter.
Oh, it sure does if it's raining.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well.
Phil Collins will make it all right the next day.
I wish you a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
See you there.
Ok. Allez, bye bye. Au revoir. Vive le Vive le sac.
The campsite bedded down like an army the night before battle. Alarms were set early. First in would get the best patch of grass. The security was overpowering. 500 volunteers, many from the army, were paid £20 to politely see that no one went where they shouldn't. The crowd looked skyward. If £5.50 seems a lot for a ticket, most of the fans would have paid double that for sunshine. There were headaches and migraines, asthmas and fractures, cuts and burns, and epileptic fits. But above all, there was patience. They waited 13 weekend hours on damp grass in cold wind before the top of the bill came on.
At the sound of a scream from below, he thinks he is a warrior, so he picks up his sword and goes. From the mouth of the monster, he rescues the maiden fair. Ah, but we know she's a demon, come to lure him to the demon's lair. Through restless foliage, tall trees he leads to a house in a clearing, a place in Hertfordshire she calls home. Him to enter in with her. There was something in her manner that his mind could not ignore. Also it is whispered in the kingdom far and wide to beware that little cottage in the forest in a glade. For who knows what magic takes place in this world. So he just thanks her kindly, preparing to go on his way. Come fit to play a call. Some men never listen, and others never learn. But why this man did as he did, only he will ever know. He knew he was walking into a waiting trap, neatly set up for him with a bait so richly wrapped. So he went inside there to take on what he found, but he never escaped them. For who can escape what he desired? Come with me, I need you. I feel the dark and I live all alone. I'll give you wonderful too, and something special I've done. Where you lie.
Within an hour, 5 weeks of planning will have come to an end. The crowd would be left to shuffle home through the dark. The trucks would be revving up at the ramp behind the stage, the equipment back on the continent by Tuesday. But for the moment, the technological orchestra was working, a group of musicians caring first about the music.